Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about actual solutions, and you were just saying solutions are very, very easy because they're everywhere in your house.
Yeah, and you know, so often everywhere in life, because narcissism, what is narcissism? Like the epitome of self-absorption. Is it good? No, because it's clinical, and it never can be good. Your life cannot be productive if you're completely focused on yourself, because you can't get outside of yourself, which is a problem. So enter in your house. You know, every house has tasks that are in, and this is what I found so interesting. I started our little experiment because I was mad at my kids. I was sick of them thinking that I was there to serve them. And you know, there was one too many dish left out and one too many bed left unmade. And I was frustrated as a mother. And I was like, it's over. You will now be doing everything. And it was about on month 2 when our kitchen, you know, I kind of said, you're going to do everything in the kitchen. You're going to come up with the meal, you're going to cook, you're going to clean. At that point, they ranged, the little one was 3 and the oldest was 14. So the 8-year-old was a tiny bit slow on the uptake, so he was the first one to have to do all the dinner. And as I took him moaning and groaning and complaining and yelling, "You're such a mean mom," all the way into the grocery store to everyone, because he didn't care, you know. And we started going around the grocery store, and I learned very quickly I had never shown him a grocery store. You know, I'd leave them in the car. I'd even hire a babysitter to come sit in the car so that I wouldn't have to take them in with me, because it was so much easier. I wish I was joking.
No,
The truth.
I'm just thinking,
because it was so much easier. Yes, it's easier. I get it done. It's fast. All the reasons why we step in. And then to watch that kid have an economics lesson at the butter, because there's so many different kinds of butter. Why are there so many kinds of butter? Why do they cost different amount of money? And right there, he started to own his experience. So by the time we were checking out, he took all of the groceries, loaded them onto the conveyor belt, used, you know, my money to pay for them. We got in the car, we get home, the kid unloaded our car, which I can't even begin to think of the last time that happened without me berating them. Get the stuff out of the car. And then to watch him clean the kitchen, literally cook, which for his age consisted of combining things, set the table, serve a meal in front of his siblings. So you had a whole lot of other-centered right in that moment, serving others, cooking for others, and then setting himself up to be judged. And who, I mean, seriously, your family's the worst critic, you know? And there he sat, doing all this, and I've never, oh my gosh, I'd never seen him so confident or proud as I did sitting at that table. And Glenn, it was at that moment that I really had to apologize and say, I'm so sorry what I've been stripping from you every single day that I step in and do these things, because I love you, because you're too busy.
Can we come to your house with cameras and meet your children?
Sure.
Can we do that?
Yes, but you have to be ready to realize that we're real. You know, that
no, I know that.
It's not a past tense thing. We deal with it, but we're putting one foot in front of the other. And it's fun to watch these kids. It takes mountains and changes them from obstacles to opportunities. And that's really where they start to go, I can do so much more than I thought I could.
So Keith, where do you think I mean, in a bigger picture, or if you can get to the small picture, where do you think we start?
Well, I think 2 of the most important things are compassion and responsibility taking. I mean, those are the two of the big buffers against narcissism. That's exactly what you're, you know, instilling in your children by doing this.
Really, because it's compassion for your mom.
Yeah,
have compassion for your mom.
It's a connection. It's in connection for the kids. I mean, it's just a sense of it's a connectedness.
Yeah.
It's a connectedness. I mean, I'm doing this, so I like that.
I know.
The other piece that people don't think about as often, I'll throw out there, is passion. When people do things they're passionate about, they're not doing it because they look good. They're not doing it to get attention or because they want to fit in. When they do stuff they love, when they're intrinsically motivated, ego drops away in the process. Sometimes we talk about it as a flow state. You know, you get skiing or swimming or surfing or something. So that's a real good buffer for narcissism. And the other thing I think is really important are natural consequences. The idea that setting up a world for your kid that when they fail, it acts back and they know it. So I go surfing, and whenever I'm out in California, and I occasionally I'll get a big head and go, I can do this. I'm 18.
And consequence.
I get consequences. And I learn.
Yep. Okay, 2 books. The narcissism epidemic, living in the age of entitlement, and this book will explain to you this is not just a rich person's problem. This is in the poorest of poor communities. And cleaning house, 2 books. I hope you see why we're not talking directly about gun control today. We have to fix ourselves and our children first, or we're going to need a babysitter in a government to tell us exactly when they can and can't use guns, or when they can and can't. They'll have to wait for the first responder instead of being one. Back in just a minute.